to tell the story that when she was teaching a ballet class when I was still in the womb, and I apparently kicked, and she did, oh my lord, he did a grand bat ma, he's going to be a dancer. And so then I came out pinching all the women, you know, on the rear, hanging on the bars and being a total boy troublemaker. So she knew I had my dad's side in me too. So I don't really remember a time not being on stage. My mother really believed if you ever wanted to be an artist, you had to be well versed in every level of the arts. So ballet was my base, jazz, second, then modern, then tap. And then ballroom, I did ballroom exhibitions with Andre Previn and his orchestra once I got in my teens. And I really appreciate that kind of upbringing because being raised as a dancer, you learn a level of discipline. It just made me realize if it's worth having, it's worth working for. I was scared to do a dance movie for a long time because when I did Skate Town USA during the roller disco phase, the reviews came in and saying all kinds of stuff like not since Valentino did his Tango and the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse has there been such a display of male sexuality on the screen, and I had a 4-picture deal with Columbia and 6 other films offered to me, and I thought no, if I let this happen, I'll never be taken seriously as an actor. So I turned it all down and buried myself back into acting classes and started doing interesting, more performance-focused roles like a soldier dying of leukemia on MASH, and then The Outsiders and North and South. But then Dirty Dancing came along, and I just couldn't resist it. Something resonated in me. Something said, this could be a gem. Eleanor Bergstein wrote a fun movie that had some interesting, deeper subject matter, trying to interpret a time period before the Beatles happened and before President Kennedy was shot, and when it was an age of innocence, but that innocence is starting to get colored by education. That it's the funky little Jewish girl that gets the guy because of what she has in her heart. And people trying to find themselves. Eleanor lived this time period, going to resorts up in the Catskills, living this kind of world, and was the keeper of the truth and the honesty, and I can't say enough about it. It started a phase of my life that I'll never forget.
Who's that?
Oh, them. They're the dance people. They're here to keep the guests happy.
We didn't have a big rehearsal period before the movie started. We got there and we're working. We were staying in Lake Lure, in this tiny little town, nothing to do, but I just was completely focused with the movie, and Johnny, I never left that place. So our hotel was like a big dormitory. Crew, cast, everybody. Emil Ardolino was our fearless leader, and he was a man of amazing taste. I could always look to him to tell me, yes, that's good, no, that's not, try this, go a different direction. I'm a person with just a billion ideas. If you don't like this one, I got 500 more. And I've got a lot of energy, and Emil helped me harness that. Emil and Eleanor and I and Jennifer, whoever was necessary that night, we were willing to stay up every night, night after night after night, and rewrite and choreograph and see if we could flesh these relationships out and define a story in such a way that it would become the definitive representation of a time period, that even if you didn't live in that time period, you were just sucked in and drawn in. We wanted to accomplish something that affects people in a deep way. We were dancing nonstop, constantly, all the time. We'd just go out there in between takes whenever they weren't using us or whatever. All the dancers took on their characters. They created character names for themselves. They lived the characters, and you see it. In movies that really work, you can take an audience anywhere you want to take them as long as they believe it. And the moment that they're carrying those watermelons and break through those swinging doors, all these dancers, all these kids became these kids of the street. I became this guy of the street. We lived it. So when they step into that room, the world was so detailed and interesting and hot and sensual and full of freedom that as an audience member, you're totally taken on the ride. If Jennifer Grey wasn't as brilliant as she was as Baby Houseman, none of the movie would have worked. She hit that kind of confusion that a girl would be going through in this time and trying to figure out who she is. Yet she's very, very smart. She's got a brain like a steel trap, as does the real Jennifer Grey in life. So that hormonal period of emotions running crazy and an intellect that's probably going to get you scholarships and you're probably going to do big things in the world and go off with the Peace Corps and make huge change like was the dream of every young person in that time. She really captured Baby in a way that I don't think anybody else could have. You got to watch Jennifer really turn into this fabulously sensual, alive woman. When they came to me with this movie and I auditioned with Jennifer, I think Jennifer and Patrick, as people, we were in that place ourselves of who are we? Who are we as actors, making life's decisions during that period of who we are and who we want to be in our essence and our principles, not just, actor, actress. Who am I supposed to be in this life? I think that's what Johnny and Baby are dealing with. When you do that kind of thing, when you find that kind of connection with another actor, magic happens every time.
Dance with me.
Well, here?
Here.
I believe the key to love scenes is about that connection between two human beings in that moment when all the barriers are down and you don't fear. And you know that person is going to protect your heart. What's beautiful about the dance and about partner dancing is when you connect in somebody's eyes and you as a person are not complete until that other person is in your life. And when you get that kind of connection, it's not about facial expressions or performance. It's about truth and honesty. And I really think that's what this movie achieved.
You're invading my dance space. This is my dance space. That's yours. That's cha-cha.
I was a much better dancer than Johnny Castle. I was constantly wanting to do more complicated choreography or steps or things than Johnny Castle would be capable of. But Kenny Ortega was that Johnny Castle kind of guy, so we really pooled our passions. He became me, I became him, and we really created a playground. He'd feed off of me, I'd feed off of him. I'd go, back to the hotel and work on stuff at night, bring it in the next day, and we started playing, and Kenny would just be like, he was just like a kid in a candy store, He'd go, oh my God, I like that, let's play. And we tear into it. Ballet is the basis of all dance as far as what I've been taught since I was little. If you have that level of technical prowess, then you have the ability to, to take it and make it interesting or sensual. And then, of course, injuries happen. I tore a groin muscle and a muscle in my lower back. And so it was about working through pain as well. So it was a room of 5 people, of Cynthia Rhodes and Jennifer Grey and me, Kenny Ortega, Miranda Garrison, who is probably the hottest mambo queen dancer that has ever hit this earth. So she had that sizzle and that heat in the technical world that we were playing with. The 5 of us, we drove back and forth in our van, we drove ourselves, so we could rehearse at all hours of the night or whenever. So it really turned into a family. Everybody just found their niche. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, don't lean back, lifting up. Even the music, we all got to listen and be part of it. And as the choreography built, the music built, the choreography built, because we had to dance to it. I got to be a part of how it's shaped, how it's developed, because every few days we get something with new instruments, the brass section added, and all around you just got to see discoveries happening. Everything kind of intentionally and accidentally created the magic. You just got to watch a flower blossom on every level, and it was probably my most powerful experience of seeing that team energy and that team spirit.
I always do the last dance of the season, but this year somebody told me not to. So I'm going to do my kind of dancing with a great partner.
Jerry Orbach is one of my heroes. He's probably forgotten more than most actors will ever know, and especially in the whole last dance sequence, because it was wild. We just had to come up with stuff fast, and everything was going crazy, and I would use Jerry and Kelly Bishop as sort of my barometers. I would just kind of look to Jerry, and he'd give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or do it again, or do it once more. he had these little hand signals because it was important to not have it be about dancing or look at me or steps. It really needed to be about passion and communication and that connection with Jennifer and I. I've done that look with women all over this planet. And the scary thing is you go around the world and the amount of women from anywhere from 6 to 90 know every piece of the choreography. It's staggering. A very short time after the movie came out, and there was the 100+ club of women who had seen the movie, and this was only a few months after it had come out, women who'd seen the movie in theaters over 100 times. And that started me on a road as an actor to really believe in this team spirit. So when you get people into a movie, into believing that you really can have an effect in the world and really make a statement and touch people's lives in a very deep way, it got me on this focus of that's the way I want every movie I'm ever involved with to be. So Dirty Dancing gave me a chance to discover the kind of actor I wanted to be, you know, and the only way to do that is break that box office mentality, go for characters, go for the craft, and because as time goes on, passion and a sense of purpose gets hard to hang on to, and you have to work for it, because cynicism in the world wants to come in and just, you know, and taint everything, and I think if we want to keep continuing to discover our innocence, we can't allow it to happen. We got to remember that the values that we started off with are the values that we should die with. So as I've gone on, I've gone off in another direction, playing Wilds In like surfers or messed up doctors in India, or a ghost, or a drag queen, you know. Because you have to keep a sense of unpredictability in your work. And so what I try to do is, once you think you have it figured out, the moment the camera rolls, throw it out the window. And let something magical happen. Let something different, the unexpected happen. And take risks. And I think, for me, that keeps me challenged. It keeps me wanting to go further. And you realize that it's an opportunity to give something back to the world in some way, through people seeing life or themselves different through your eyes. That's a true gift.